it's a theory, right? It's an experiment. But I have a feeling if we just give them the opportunity to engage civically, we'll change our entire state. I would
Right.
argue the entire world. Because
Yeah.
if we can change states like Indiana, it reflects everywhere.
All right, folks, we're back. This is the Foolish Optimist podcast. I am so excited for our guest today. You know who I am. My name is Amy McDonald. We are on the hunt for the next generation of leaders. Wherever you are listening or watching this podcast, could you please rate and review us or give us a follow? That's a huge help. And without further ado, I'm very excited. Our guest today is Blythe Potter, running for Indiana Secretary of State. Blythe Potter is an Army Military Corps veteran, a mother, a small business owner, and an organizer seeking the Democratic Party's nomination for Indiana's Secretary of State in 2026. She is also a precinct chair, was an elected state and national delegate in 24, an Emerging Leaders Project, Hoosier Women's Forward graduate, and a precinct chair who has been active in her Johnson County community for over 20 years. You can follow her at Blythe Potter, IN, that stands for Indiana, on all social media, or check out her website at blythepotter.com. Blythe, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so grateful to have you. You're our first Secretary of State candidate.
Actually, that's exciting.
I would love to start with why you're running in 2026. What spurred this action?
We are not seeing reflected in our leadership and elected officials that the values we want, especially in Indiana. We're politically a red state. I do not believe we are actually a red state. I think most people are purple, but we have such low voter turnout that we've just been hammered and people are apathetic. There's not enough information about voting. I've noticed this cool ecosystem happening online the last few years of people. We're trying to do the work that our elected officials should do for us, sharing information about candidates and things. It's basically just marketing, right? Like marketing the elections and people will know about it. I do that for a living as a small business owner. It should be a boring administrative job that we're sharing information. And I know I can not only do better than the person who's in the office now, I can certainly do better than the other candidates. And I know we can get our voting numbers up for sure.
I was about to say there's a really low voter turnout for midterm years. I was looking at the numbers before this, like 31%.
I have a feeling Hoosiers and even the rest of the country, they're going to surprise us. We did have a referendum. We had 5 or 6 referendums on the ballot this past November in Indiana, and they had record turnout for that. So people are not only sharing information, but they're receiving it and they're doing the things. We have an increased number of voter registration, which we aren't that low, but there's one House District 88. Stephanie Jo Yoakum is running for that. And between November of last year and October this year, there were over 3,000 new never registered voters. That's winning races on all levels.
Yeah,
So,
especially at a state house level, people forget, like, House of Representatives, we're looking at 600 to 900,000 people, but state house is much smaller. So, like, getting 3,000 people registered to vote, getting them excited to vote, getting them to show up, like, I don't think 2026 is going to be our typical midterm.
I don't think so either. And we're just seeing so much happening around the state, and it's pretty organic where people like you and I are just, we're pissed.
Yeah.
And typically, I'm not one to talk politics or get involved because, we don't do that in the Midwest. But I think we're all just saying, basically, fuck it. We're doing this because it's not being done for us.
I'm from the South, so we don't really talk politics there either, but I've always been that friend, the, like, too woke friend. Like, literally since I was, like, 16, like, I got in a fight in the parking lot of my high school. And my parents were like, should you go visit a college or something? Maybe you shouldn't go to school tomorrow. Maybe you just need to get out of town a little bit. And I was like, yeah, I do. Thanks. So I love seeing other people really getting involved. It's, like, so exciting, and so many people are running, which makes me, like, joyful. And so many women, like you said.
Oh, women, LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of the Black Indigenous population, people of color. Like, we, the progressives, who also know the Democratic Party needs a massive overhaul. We're really, I'm proud of us. I was proud of us last year too. So I do try to keep that perspective, but
yeah. Oh, yes, we are recording on the second day of 2026. So last year was 2025. Just for
I meant 2024.
Okay. I'm
We were so hopeful going into the presidential election,
Yeah.
and yeah, how has it already been a year?
It's time. Smash Mouth said it. The years start coming and they don't stop. And I literally this morning was like, what the fuck? It's 2026. You mentioned like the diversity of all the people running for office. I'm like so pumped. We have the most diverse Congress we've ever had, and it's like still almost all white men. And
Yeah, 91% white men.
we are so diverse. And I'm like, compared to, yeah, when only white men could vote, sure,
Yeah.
we're diverse, but not compared to the country, not to the demographics. Huh? What? So I'm hoping that we just start to see government bodies, state level, national level, city level, just start to look like who they represent.
Yeah, same.
Nothing
Iowa just
crazy.
elected their first Black female state senator,
Who
which is
did?
huge. Iowa.
Iowa. Yes. Oh, I did see that. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. If you care about politics enough to listen to this podcast, you've probably felt the frustration of trying to navigate government. Who's your city council member? State? What district are you even in? It shouldn't be this hard. Luckily for us, there's Civic Politics, a free app that brings all your elected officials together in one place from City Hall to Congress. No more hunting across dozens of outdated government websites. Just download Civic Politics on the App Store or Google Play Store and finally have your representatives in the palm of your hand. Follow at civic.app on TikTok or civic.politics on Instagram to be the first to know about the latest features. So maybe we can talk a little bit about Secretary of State. Okay. What do we, for Indiana specifically, I'm sure it's slightly different that's what I'm learning doing this podcast. Every state is fucking different. So what does Secretary of State mean for Indiana?
In Indiana, the primary job is overseeing the elections. So free and secure elections, making people are registered, taking care of the voting rolls, all the things. But in my opinion, that should also include informing people about the elections.
Mm-hmm.
They oversee the securities, automobile dealerships, the InBiz website, which is where like small business owners like myself will go and get their LLCs, things like that. Notaries public and protecting the seal of the Secretary of State, but primarily overseeing the elections and making sure that the counties are supported well. And that's where I see the biggest opportunity for change for Indiana is with the elections.
Totally. Oh yeah, we've already touched on this. What do you think, aside from apathy, is causing some of this voter turnout in Indiana?
There's a lot. So we only have, and I know we say only, it's 12 hours, but 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is when we can vote during the week.
That's
But
not that much time.
it's
if you have a
really
job.
not.
Or you
So
have kids, or you have both.
Yeah. And I'm lucky. I'm in a rural community, but it's growing. So I can literally walk 2 minutes to my voting location. But I also have a child. So if my husband is out of town and I have to be at work at 10 and she has to be at school at 9, that means I have to leave at 8:30. That means I'm going to have to get her up early and go stand in line in the dark at 6 a.m. to make me vote and get there in time. And if I'm working until 4:30 and pick her up at 5:30 and the polls close at 6, we're both and that's just me. So I'd like to see the hours change. I'd like to see they don't allow poll workers to work half days.
So they have to work all 12 hours?
Yes.
I'm sure they're doing their best
that.
work by the end of the day. Like, I would literally be like curled up in a ball. Just
Oh, it's got to be horrible because
Yeah.
people are birds. So I'd like to be able to change that. I'd like to have opt-in absentee ballots. Right now, we have to basically beg and have a really good reason to get them. And you have to request it every year. Stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I think the problem is people don't know. I had
Yeah.
friends who are middle class white women in their mid to late 20s. In 2023, when I ran for town council, this woman was in my leadership class, a fellow small business owner, friends with me on Facebook. 6 months after the election, asked me when the election was. You know, that's when it really dawned on me, like, fuck, if I'm not reaching someone who's in my feed, in my algorithm,
like that close to me all
problem.
the time. Yeah.
So they're obviously causing that. So a lot of states have voter guidebooks or voter handbooks, and that's what I want to create. I'd really like to work with the county clerk so that we make sure we're including municipal candidates. Because sometimes 70 people on our ballots.
70?
So yeah, depending on the office. Like the township offices alone and the county offices can easily be 30 to 40. It's insane.
I thought I heard you wrong. I was like, what?
It's a lot.
Wow.
It can be a lot. Now, some of those are special circumstances. If it's at large, there's 3 or 4 people. School board, same thing. Delegates, precinct chairs go on the ballots as well. But how do you know all this, right? Like, you're not
Yeah.
going to memorize 70 people. Straight ticket voting fucking kills us. It hurts
Right.
at large candidates because they're not included. So I want as comprehensive of a ballot book as possible, digital and paper. We'll use
Mhm.
our printers. We'll, of course, use the postal service. We can send those out 3 months in advance.
Yeah.
People will have time. They can see some nonpartisan, objective information about the candidates, where
Yeah.
they can find more information, how they can get in touch with the candidates,
Right.
but also a sheet or whatever to fill in the candidates they like. So they can
Yeah.
take that sheet, they know who they're going to vote for, they go through and vote in and out 5 minutes and be done. Or if they have opted into the absentee ballots, they can fill it out at their leisure and just
Yeah.
take the pressure off. So it's a theory, right? It's an experiment, but I have a feeling if we just give them the opportunity to engage civically, we'll change our entire state. I would
Right.
argue the entire world, because
Yeah.
if we can change states like Indiana, it reflects everywhere.
No, exactly. This is Indiana has had 17 years of Republican trifectas. Is there any, and like with the current Secretary of State, is there any, what we have, our biggest problem in the South is voter rolls being purged. And they say, oh, if you haven't re-registered in 5 years, we're going to purge because we know you've moved. Does that happen there?
It does. And so I don't actually know what our current Secretary of State was doing the 3 previous years leading up to 2024, but that motherfucker purged 585,000 voters in October of 2024.
How many
After
voters does Indiana have?
we have 6.9 million. We have 6.9 million residents.
So it's probably
I
three and
think
a
we're about
half.
70% registered voters.
Yeah.
So we have a lot. But still, that's 500,000. We lost Attorney General, the governor, and Senate by about 500,000 votes.
That's interesting.
It could be a total fluke.
Yeah.
Just
But
not per rules since he started, whatever. But
right.
this year in I'm sorry, in 2025, we're in 26 now. He purged another 585,000 voters going after immigrants or people he perceived to be illegal voters. And it's the worst part is he is an immigrant himself and he voted illegally in 2018. He voted twice in 2 different counties. And he is probably the most corrupt politician we have in the state of Indiana.
Oh my God. Okay, there's so much there. We have to.
It's so
We have
it's
to.
so bad. It's so
Uh,
bad.
So when we talk about voter fraud, there's actually very few cases of voter fraud, and he's one of them. How special for
Yeah.
him?
It's 0.1%.
Yep.
It's like such a small amount
It
that
rounds down to zero, technically.
the person going after the fraud is the
It's
fraud.
making me laugh so hard. That's so insane.
He also got fired from the Secretary of State's office as an employee like twice. I
I'm blown away. What
it's
is it sounds like an episode of Parks and Rec. I
our entire political atmosphere does on all levels of government right now. If it
Yeah.
involves Republican, it's a shit show.
Yeah.
Like Donald Trump saying he takes 4 aspirins a day and he's healthy as a horse. Like, we're not blind.
We're watching you die, unfortunately. It's a slow,
literally.
prolonged march towards death, but we are watching it in real time.
We're being traumatized by these motherfuckers.
Oh, for sure. 100%. There's going to be there's so much trauma involved in this. Obviously, for our Black and brown Americans, I don't even know how they would leave the house right now. My hometown, Charlotte, got raided with ICE last year in 25. So like in the Revolutionary War, the joke was that Charlotte, North Carolina was the hornet's nest because everyone was so batshit crazy and they would just fight like crazy. And now we have the Charlotte Hornets. Like that's how we got the Charlotte Hornets. And that's exactly what happened when ICE showed up. People were just like, you are leaving our town. We're going to fuck you up. And we're just nice Southern people.
Things like that actually give me so much hope because not only are these red areas stepping up, we are pushing back against ICE. Our neighbors are speaking up. People who don't get involved are getting involved. And we did it for a whole year and we're still going. Like,
For sure.
New Year's Day, all of my signal chats with my organizers and activists are like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And they're like as jazzed as ever. I'm like, okay, we're gonna fucking do this, man. Like 11 more months, we got this.
It's
So
literally like the one silver lining is
it
watching
is.
many Americans who either and like we're watching people who voted for Trump start to wake up from this facade, which is great because they've been lied. Do I trust them? Not really as far as I can throw them, but I'm grateful to see them starting to say, "Hey, I think I fucked up." It's like, "You
Yeah.
did." Yeah. But it's a big wake up call, I think, for everyone in the country, and I think for especially younger people. My generation, I'm like very strongly millennial. I'm 35. We haven't seen like a functioning government
No.
realistically. Like
Sure.
it's only gotten worse and worse, and enough of us were like skating by to the point that it was fine, and now like the vast majority of millennials are much worse off than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's a massive wake up call to everyone. And so it's just terrible, but a silver lining.
I hope we are at a point in this story that one, we're going to continue to have these conversations going forward. Hopefully, we won't have to work this hard to have some semblance of peace. But I think we are breaking cycles. And the millennial, I'm an elder millennial. I think I'm called a zennial. Like, I could use a floppy disk, but I can also use a thumb drive in the
Hey,
cloud. Like,
I can
all
also use a floppy disk.
I know, right? Like, most people have no fucking clue what that was. Like, you're probably one of the younger
My niece asked
age
me
group.
why the save button looked the way it did
The save button.
because it's a floppy disk. When you press, yeah, like the like icon for a save, it's a fucking floppy disk.
Occurred to me that that's not relevant anymore. But we have been so beaten and gaslit and lied to and manipulated, not just as a generation, also as women, right? And I know we're saying this is from a place of privilege being white, but we're just fucking tired of it. And I think we're rebuilding and creating a community that's never been done before in this country. I would argue the world, because we're seeing Canada support us. We're seeing
Yeah,
people in Europe support us. I think this is going to be good. If we can sustain this, which I
yeah,
believe we will, we're on the right side of this shit. We really are.
yeah. I had a conversation with another millennial woman running, Hallie Schaffner, actually someone from Arkansas, Robert Arnold says hi. He told me to tell you that.
I'm still like, yeah,
It's he said he has an event with you in March.
he does. In
Yeah.
Knox County, I can't believe he fucking knows who I am. That's so
Yeah,
exciting.
no, I was on the phone with him earlier. He told me to tell you hello. I might come to that
Oh,
event,
that's
by
so
the way, because I'm gonna be in the United States. I might hop, skip, and a jump into Indiana for
yeah.
or
Oh my
yeah.
God, that'd be so cool.
I was talking to another woman who's also millennial, and we were just laughing because we were like, "Oh, of course, millennial women now are like millennial and like Gen X women are just like, fuck, no one else is gonna fix it. We'll fucking fix it. I guess we
Yeah.
have to fix it."
Yeah.
Like,
But it feels like imposter syndrome, but on a whole new level, because I feel like it's always been so out of reach to be in politics. We don't have the right amount of money. We don't have the right name. We don't have the right history. We don't have the right experience. We don't have the right education. Those motherfuckers have all the right shit and they are screwing it up. So, yeah.
I've been reminding people if you have imposter syndrome, specifically women, if you have imposter syndrome, Pete Hegseth is now in charge of the entire military. He has only ever been in charge of 200 people in his life, and he's in charge of everyone. No imposter syndrome allowed. If he can fucking do it, anyone can do it. You can do it. Let's go. We could, it's just, I'm, I've been thinking about this a lot, right? Like they removed all of the DEI programs, and it's like, oh, you removed the DEI programs so that these like white men would have no competition because they can't beat the competition because they're all trash. And this is hashtag not all white men. We're talking about the ones specifically in this administration. There are many other competent white men that I would trust in our country's helm, but not Pete Hegseth. Like,
No.
not JD Vance, who's been around for 10 fucking minutes because Peter Thiel bankrolled him. I'm so excited. The future is. What year was that? I'm about to say the future is female. What year was that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's so ubiquitous now, but I remember the time period it came out and we were all like, that's right. The future is female.
It's female. And we were the crazy feminists. What I also like though is there are a lot of white men who are like bashing on this stereotypical white male thing.
100%.
Yes. Own your
100%.
shit. Use it to your advantage and to help people.
Yeah, I know. It's refreshing to see. But again, it's all wrapped up in this silver lining of people realizing that I just realized, hold on a minute. What is going on? My brain's broken. Sorry.
You know what? Our brains are going to be broken and have been broken. It surviving last year, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm sure there's a better term for it, but it
Right.
really it feels like survival. We're
Yeah.
trying to juggle this activism, organizing, getting the word out, working. You,
Like literally paying bills.
yeah.
Like
Oh my God, that continue to
I,
rise.
everything's getting I had lost my job earlier this year, so I deferred my student loans and they just kicked back in and I was like, "Ugh, shit, that's a bill that I wasn't."
For some reason, I thought you had quit your job, but now I do remember you saying that. Yeah.
So a fun fact about the United States is you're allowed to lay people off even if the company's profitable. The vast majority of Western Europe, other industrialized countries, you're not allowed to just lay people off for no fucking reason. But you can in the United States.
Yeah.
It's
We're literally the wild, wild west in all of the worst ways. And human rights, people don't give a fuck. They just don't. I'm sorry. Republicans in power,
no,
millionaires and billionaires, they don't give a fuck.
no. There's so many people that do. And I have people arguing with me all the time about, oh, like, what were you saying about Barack Obama and his deportation tactics? And I was like, people were fighting him every step of the fucking way. Because people have always cared. You're just mad because you now see other people who look like you talking about it on the internet, not just the people who have been immigration advocates for 30 or 40, 50 years. There's consistently been pushback against every president and their deportation policies. It's just very frustrating. Also, Obama hasn't been president.
And so, like,
It's been 10 years.
yeah,
It's been 10 years. It's like this thing.
but that is actually a signifier that they have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
Mhm.
Oh, what did you think about this 10 years ago? Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Also, if that's your argument, and to me, it's always funny because I'm just like, you could be arguing about Biden, you could be arguing about Trump won, but instead we're going back in time to the one black president we've ever had.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why is that?
That's the
Why?
thing is, like, they don't realize we disagree with ourselves and other progressives all the time.
Constantly.
And that's called civic discourse. If
Yeah.
you completely agree with everybody, you're doing something wrong, or
You're
you're
probably a liar.
I disagree with things I do and say all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Husband, everyone,
Like everywhere. I'm researching a big series on the Spanish Civil War, and one of the historians, literally, someone asks him directly, he was like, "What's the problem with the left?" And he said it's a genetic issue with the left that they can't always get along.
I think it's normal.
I hope so. Diversity
I
of thought is
mean,
fucking good.
it's called communication. It doesn't always mean that we're like kumbaya and happy. And I think that's another way our generation gets so screwed is we had the princesses. You grow up, you get married, and you live happily ever after, and that's it. You grow
Right.
up, you go to college, you have one job for the rest of your life, and you retire and you're happy. Like pretending that everything is easy and should be happy all the time. Sad is a normal emotion. Depression, anger, fear, those are normal human emotions. We just don't know how to fucking cope with them.
And that's part of it. You're talking about Midwestern, and we're talking about Southernness, and like being as specifically like a certain age woman in either of those parts of the country, you're just supposed to be nice and pretty and quiet. And yeah, literally. And this is one of those things that does, this is my pet theory. I think it's generations and generations and generations of white supremacy that is being pushed into women. And like, I see white women getting really angry when a black woman shows up. She's looking hot as can be. She's loud. She's funny. She's taking up space. And I'm like, oh, you're harboring resentment from an issue you don't even know you're being subjected to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. And women tell me,
Hospitality.
white women tell me that all the time. They're like, you're just like too much. You're like really loud. And I'm like, yeah, we're allowed to be loud. You should be. It's fun. Try it. It's exhilarating.
Yeah. Being seen, not heard, that's a weird thing. That's weird.
But it's so very old school. We've gotten so far off topic. Okay, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Government information shouldn't require a scavenger hunt. Luckily for us, Civic Politics is a free app that shows you all of your elected officials, city, state, federal, all in one place. Download it now on the App Store or in Google Play Store and have the information you need in the palm of your hand. Let's go back to Indiana. Indiana, we were talking about elections. I think Secretary of State is one of those like non-super sexy roles, but it's so fucking important. We already talked about your voter civics guide, right? I love that idea. What do you think some other ideas are for either getting the voters to turn out for your election or just elections in general?
I want to also inform people on how to be involved as candidates or
Yeah.
precinct committee people, or even just working with campaigns. I would like to streamline our campaign reporting, which I'm having an issue right now. It's online, but it's as clunky and unintuitive as it could possibly be.
Yeah.
And it things like this, if you don't have enough money to pay someone to do it for you, it's easy to screw it up. And I think it's
Right.
by design, right? Same with the NBiz website. It's good, it functions, but we could add more to it. Let's say you go and register your small business with your LLC. Well, let's see what else you could be helped with the Small Business Administration or the Indiana Small Business Bureau. Like if you're a female or a veteran or a person of color or an immigrant or a first year, like there are different programs that could help
Right.
you. Or what town do you live in? Did you know you're going to need to go to your town council to
Yes.
for zoning issues, or you might need to get a permit from the county, or in this city in Greenwood, you need a permit for this. In Barbersville, you don't. Like we have to fumble across so much of this. And like when we were starting our business, we had to go through the Department of Homeland Security to get clearance. Okay. Close to a railroad. No one fucking tells you this until you're like, oh, by the way, that plan you had to be done in January, it's gone because the Department of Homeland Security has to get involved. Just make it easier. And
Right.
I'm an end user of the voting systems my entire adult life. I'm an end user of the NBiz website. I recently got a notary public just to see how that goes, which also confusing as fuck. You do all this paperwork, you pay all this money. Now what? Do I just wait? What do we do here? So just to make things easier, but also I want to lead by example and allow people to give feedback on these websites because they're going to have different experiences of things
Right.
that might be functioning that I won't even catch. So to be able to just have like a 2-minute survey, hey, what could have made this easier? What are we missing? And if we can do that with my office, which is, in my opinion, like customer service, but it is like running a small B Corp style business, right? Like we don't want to run it like a big corporation where we're screwing people. I think we can probably get the rest of the executives and maybe even the rest of our elected officials to start listening better because we aren't being listened to. The constituents are not being listened to. We are seeing that played out in real time. I've never made so many fucking phone calls and sent emails and
Yeah.
postcards and letters in my life.
I know. It's unbelievable. So 10 years ago, Princeton put out a study and it was all about how much support does a bill need to get passed? And it was basically like, if there's 0% support or 100% support from the American people, it still has about a 30% chance of getting passed because it's all about the money. And then they put out a new one this year because it's been 10 years. It came out in 2015. So they put out another one and they show the investment of these corporations, right? In 2015, I think it was like a couple $1 billion and they got $4 trillion back for getting. Oh, wait, I can't hear you. What happened? Did I?
Oh, I said, oh my God, quietly.
Oh, okay. I was like, did I mute?
No,
But yeah,
I
it's people are not, nobody's being heard and nobody's been heard for a really long time. And that's how we're like gotten into this position. And now that more people are getting involved, they're like, wait a minute, my congressman can just hang up on me, or they can just say, mailbox full.
Yeah. But that's also, and I'm not excusing it. I'm not playing devil's advocate. It should never have been a thing. But that's the expectation. These people were not elected to serve us. They were not elected with the assumption that they will have to listen and take voicemails and pay attention to the letters and tally what people want. That was never a thing. Now, do I think I might be starting in Indiana? Maybe, because we ended up not redistricting, which is
It's fucking rad.
I don't
I
bet,
know.
but I would have bet that they were going to anyway. I think we're starting to shift the narrative on what it means to be an elected official, hopefully. Yeah, they didn't go into office. They were said, here, raise this money, do this stuff, benefit yourself. You don't have to fucking listen to them.
Is there like a Democratic Secretary of State group, like Democratic governors?
That's a good question, and I don't have a good
If
answer to that.
there's not one, you should start one.
Sure. I keep meaning to reach out to other Democratic secretaries of state across the country, but trying to fit that kind of thing into my schedule just has not happened. But it should be a thing, right? Like
Yeah.
most of them oversee the elections and registration, and
Right.
it is a fundamental right that needs to be held. It's sacred. And it's the only
Yeah.
way we're going to fix this.
Needs to be protected. There's a lot of chatter around people being nervous that 2026 midterms won't happen. And my only way to give people hope is that actually they're run by the states. That's part of this, is that the states actually have a lot of control in their elections, and that's a safeguard against someone who might want to be a monarch and
It
just
can
cancel
be,
elections.
but our Secretary of State is not, he's not a good person.
Yeah.
He will be continuing to actively work against having people be vote. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't even want to hypothesize, but we're just going to have to make sure that we show white people, especially, are going to need to make sure that we fucking show up.
Yeah. I get so frustrated because I'm like, voting is so important. They're trying to take it away from you. And people are like, that's not what they're doing. And I'm like, but they are. We're
Are.
doing voter roll purges. Precincts are shutting down. They're shortening the amount of time you're able to vote, or they're making it hard to do absentee ballots. Like, they're
Shortening
trying
the number of actual polling locations. Some counties still have voter locations. So there's a voting location in every precinct, but
Okay.
you can only vote in your precinct. They want to transition it to vote centers, which isn't inherently bad because you can vote anywhere in your county. But in some cases, it's going from 100 and some odd voting locations to 50
Right.
vote centers. So again, if you do not have a reliable source of transportation, our public transportation here fucking sucks. It's basically non-existent.
Yeah.
Someone to do a ride, someone to watch your kid. Like there are barriers to entry to vote, just to vote.
Right.
So
Right.
it could still be problematic for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, and they're doing this all over the country. And that's why I was like, maybe you do need a Democratic Secretary of State group in an effort to protect our elections.
We Democrats need to do better too. Progressives like us have to actually follow through with what we're going to say, hold ourselves accountable, and fucking listen and do the work. I have to imagine not everyone gets into office thinking they're going to end up being corrupt and worry more about their stocks or their income than anything else. And money is enticing.
Yeah. Almost like when you
Very
allow
easy.
when you allow people to have like almost absolute power while they're making money hand over foot, they will take that as an op. That's what's driving me insane, is that I'm like, eliminate the options. I like, these people get paid a salary. They should have good benefits. They need to take care of their families. Fine. But close the motherfucking loopholes. What are we doing?
Yeah, we're pandering to a handful of rich men.
I do like that they're all slowly getting divorced and their wives are just taking all their money and giving it to like HBCUs and like other nonprofits. It's just beautiful. I love that. Yeah, I know. I think progressives like sticking to their word I think people have lost a lot of trust in candidates and just elected officials in general. Say you're
Why,
going
why
to
would we trust them? I have no example of a trustworthy elected official, to the best of my knowledge, who represents me. Now, I'm not saying there are no elected officials who I would trust,
right.
but my direct representatives, they're all Republicans.
The Secretary of State voted fraudulently. I'm not saying voter fraud happens and sometimes things happen, but to vote twice in one day, you have to try to do that.
You have to try. You know
Yeah.
where you're registered about, dude. Like, you just
Yeah.
know.
And you also know you already voted. It's not like you submitted an absentee ballot and you weren't sure if they received it, so you just went and no, that's a testament to your character. It's batshit insane, if I may say so.
It's
When is your primary?
So we have a convention, and
Okay.
it is quickly coming up on the time where we have to pay very close attention to it. Our convention is June 6th. I am in a contested race starting at noon on January 7th through noon on February 6th. We need people all over the state to sign up to be delegates. Each county gets a certain number, and those delegates will go to the convention on June 6th and vote, hopefully, for me. My opponent is a third generation Hoosier. I'm using air quotes because he just moved to the state to run for this office, basically. Has had himself purged from the voter rolls twice before, is not better on paper than I am as a candidate by any stretch of the imagination. But because his dad was the governor and a former senator, he was funded by AIPAC and sat on the board of AIPAC as well. He has almost $2 million within 3 months
I was
of
gonna say he recently announced. Yeah.
October. So there's a big push for people trying to get me to step down and run for something else. And it's not happening. It's just not happening. Like, he can run for something else. I'm more than qualified to run for this office and to do a good job. And we do not need someone being funded by the same people that Mike Johnson are being funded by running for office.
Right.
He's a perfectly fine person. He's very nice, but his donors are sketchy as fuck.
Concise. I like it. So talk to me a little bit more about this convention situation, because I think this is the first state we've run across conventions.
Yeah, it's gatekeeping as all fucking get out. I don't like it. And we do that for our Attorney General, Secretary of State, our auditor, our treasurer, and lieutenant governor. So this year it's Secretary of State,
Interesting.
auditor, and treasurer. And you only get 2,500 people who are chosen on the primary ballot by Democrats who get to choose who's representing the Democratic ticket in November. And for me, it will actually benefit me
Right.
because of what I've been able to do as an activist and an organizer. But we're eliminating 99% of the population from making that decision for themselves.
Right.
So
It doesn't make any sense.
it does if you want to keep executive power to a limited group of people.
I'm like shaken to my core. Do you want to talk a little bit about your community organizing and your activism?
Sure, yes.
What have you been doing?
Right now, I'm using this more as my activism. It's not as boots on the ground as I would like to be. Definitely still working with calls to actions, trying to go to town halls and things like that when people have them. But I lead an Indiana chapter of a group called Bitches Get Stuff Done. So it's basically guerrilla activism, and women get called bitches all the time for speaking up or being involved. So it's a play on that. Some women don't like that, but I don't care. It's just a word to me. Over the last year, Johnson County, this little red county in Indiana, has had multiple protests. We had several hundred people show up at multiple events. That's the biggest part of it, but also supporting other pockets of organizers across the state. I'm really trying to more connect organizers and progressives and people who are doing basically the same thing in different areas, but let's work together to do this. Let's start communicating across county lines because we need to. Why don't we already do that?
That's the craziest part, is why don't we already do it? That is something else I've discovered making this podcast, is that the democratic movements, progressive movements, we usually move in more of an itemized line, right? If we want to push for LGBTQ plus things, we'll stick to that lane. Whereas the Republican and the MAGA side, they're like, this is our platform. You don't have to support everything, but this is everything that we're going after, and you should jump in where you can. And I think that has made a very big difference over the last 50 years compared to democratic activism and democratic politics, because it's like, this is our county. We don't have to chat with the neighboring county. And yeah, you do. You're in the same congressional district. What do you mean? You're in the same fucking state.
Yeah,
Crazy.
your street goes through my county too. Why are we like this? And I think it might be human nature to try to keep people out. That might be some old, ancient part of our brain, but I think we're noticing a big change in that too. So part of my mission with my campaign is to connect county parties and help build their social media following. That way we can organically be recommended to people. People still don't even know that some of these county parties exist. That's how bad it is in Indiana. So trying to get parties to share events with each other, or some of them are starting to team up and do protests together, especially Southern Indiana. So it's been really cool to witness. There's a lot happening. Yeah, It's good.
I know. I can feel it. I've been trying to explain this to people, and for much younger people, it's hard to explain to. But for people like our age and older, you can feel when things change. Like and I can feel it, and I've been feeling it for about 7 months, and I cannot wait for the midterms. I'm so excited. I just want.
I'm so pumped.
It's going to be fabulous, and even with all the things they're trying to do to reduce the number of people voting, it's just going to be sick. Whew. We're coming up on time. Can you tell everyone where they can reach you?
Yep. I am blythepotter.com, BlythePotter.com. Blythe Potter IN on all the social medias. Email me, campaign@blythepotter.com. I try to be very responsive, but just sharing information. If you're in Indiana, please consider being a delegate. And we have information about that on the website too.
All right, now we go into our last round of things, which is just our random questions. So, are you more of a morning or an evening person?
Oh, evening. I'm a night owl.
What is it? Does Indiana have a state food?
Probably the tenderloin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Probably breaded tenderloins.
Okay, what is a Hoosier?
No one really knows. We don't. There's like speculation that like someone got into a brawl and their ear fell off, and people were like, whose ear is this? Whose ear? We don't really know.
Okay. I've always wondered. I've always wondered. Have you always lived in Indiana?
Yep, I have lived here since I was born, except for when I was deployed to Iraq.
When were you deployed to Iraq?
2005 to 2006.
When did you retire from the military?
I got out. I was only in for 8 years. I got out in 2012 as reserves.
Only.
Well,
I know it's not like a career thing, but it's a better part of a decade.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I believe the way I do now, I was raised in a Republican home, in a Republican community. So I just was told I am a Republican. But I always believed abortion care should exist and like all of the progressive things. So yeah, it's the number one social service is the military.
It 100% is. People forget about that. They forget how much money we spend on housing people, and these people deserve to be housed. Everyone in the military on bases, obviously we should be housing them, but it's like we are giving them housing and healthcare and vocational training and undergrad and graduate school.
Everyone should have access to that.
And it churns out some really great fucking leaders, dude. It really does. It's crazy how when you invest in people, all of a sudden they kind of fly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Last question. What is your favorite thing about Indiana?
Home is home. But I think right now my favorite thing is there's like a buzz, right? There's a lot of momentum and there's a lot of energy being put into changing our communities in a lot of ways for the better. So I think right now that's my favorite part is I'm constantly surprised in every pocket of Indiana how much work is being done that people don't even know about. So I see very good things in our future. I'm optimistic about it.
Yay. All right, folks, that is Blythe Potter running for Indiana's Secretary of State. If you're in Indiana, check out our website, learn about how to become a delegate, and follow her on all of her socials, Blythe Potter IN. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Thank you for following The Foolish Optimist. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, pretty much. We're going to be dropping new episodes every Wednesday, and you can watch the video episodes on YouTube. If you would like to, please give us a review, leave comments. You can also email us at thefoolishoptimistpodcast@gmail.com. If you see any really great candidates that I should be talking to, send them my way. Thank you.